What's up everybody, Brody here with Sew Yeah Quilting. Today's tutorial is all about 4 1-yard cuts. Today we're making the square Cascade quilt, and all it takes is 4 1-yard cuts of your favorite fabrics. You can get them from the quilt store or pull them right out of your stash. Let's get started. So like I said, this pattern takes 4 1-yard cuts. I've got a little bundle here of Not Your Mama's Garden. I got first edition and second edition here that's going to make this quilt here behind me. And I'm going to show you the step outs of how to do it. It is very easy to do with just a couple of steps. As you can see, we've got 2 different blocks here, and this is one of those quilts you can take it and make your own. You can add larger sashings, bigger borders, change your block arrangement where it kind of does an ombre, whatever you want to do, this quilt's for you. So the first thing we're going to start doing is we're going to mark the squares of our snowballed corners here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our little squares and mark them with whatever you have. You can use a friction pen, you can use chalk, and just go corner to corner on them. That way you know exactly where you are sewing. So now that you've marked all of your squares, what you're going to do is you're going to have your center pieces, which is going to be this portion of your block. Now this is a great way to show off bold prints. So obviously you're not cutting them up into little pieces, you're going to be able to show. You can also fussy cut if you want to put certain flowers or motifs inside of these squares. So it's a good option for you. So I have that piece here. We want to show off this print. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take 4 of these little squares that we have just marked. We're going to put them in the corners of our quilt here. We're basically just doing a quick little snowball. And then we are going to get ready to sew. Now what we're going to do is we're going to sew right down the lines here that we have put. So I'm going to grab a couple Wonder Clips just to hold things in place a little bit. And this will basically get the completion of the block once we sew these on here. We have to do a little trimming after that, but it's a very simple block to do. And again, it shows off those motifs here in the center. So I'm gonna take this over to the sewing machine. I wanna sew all 4 of these at the same time. So like I said, you're just gonna go right down that line that you sewed, or excuse me, that you drew. So I did that there. I'm gonna rotate the block. There we go. You can't really chain piece this per se, but it's basically the same thing here. We're just going around in a circle. And this makes it easy if you set these up beforehand. You can get a stack of them ready, and then you just run them through your machine, kind of rotating them through. Very good. Going to our last one here. So, first block is almost done. So I'm going to lay it down here. We're going to take off our Wonder Clips that we had. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to grab my ruler and I'm going to grab a rotary cutter. Today we're using the Ulfa Blue. And what we're going to do is we're going to trim off the outside edge here. So you're going to cut 2 pieces of fabric. So you're going to cut both of these and to trim these off. One trick that I've seen people do, is just like a little side trick, is I've seen people run this through the sewing machine again. Might as well just show you the trick, okay? So I want to run this through again using my line that I've already sewn as a secondary measuring mark. So check this out. 2 different things here. First, we're going to trim the block. But as I'm trimming, if you do the second cut, you make yourself little half square triangle sets that you can then use for a very small scrap quilt afterwards. So if you want to do that, you'll have another little scrappy quilt waiting for you. But if not, you're just going to go ahead and trim these off here. Leave yourself about 1/4 of an inch between your cuts and where you have sewn. So put this here. Now at this point what we're going to do is we're going to iron these open, and this will give us that block right there, okay? So we're going to iron these open. It's going to look something like this, and we'll have our finalized block. I'm going to iron it and I'll show what it looks like. So your block should look just like this when you're finished, okay? Now obviously you're going to repeat this process to be able to get every other block here that you want. Now, if you're doing a 4-yard quilt like the one that we're showing you like this, and you're not switching fabrics out, obviously your centerpiece is all going to look the same. But you can also switch it out. You can take these right here, cut out your squares, and use different scraps throughout your quilt, through your stash. So what you can do is you can change these out, like I said before, to whatever you want. Now, first block's done, you know how to do that. We're gonna switch over to the second block now. So next up, we're going back to cutting some small squares here. So I already have some pre-cut, but this is what's going to make the center of our next block. So this part right here. So what we're gonna do is once we've cut our blocks, we're going to sew them right sides together, and you're basically creating just a little 3-patch here. Just like that. And this is one that you could chain stitch if you if you're a chain stitcher. So I've sewed those together like that. I'm gonna add one to the other side here. Bada bing, bada boom. Again, this is one that you can chain stitch, but you also don't really have to even pin. The blocks are small. You can just kind of put them together and sew. So in doing that, this is gonna be the center of our block, okay? Just like that. So I have this here, and what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna cut 2 rectangles for each side. So one for this side, one for this side, and in doing that and sewing them together, second block's done. Easy as that, let's do it. Okay, so blocks are cut here. What I'm gonna do is right sides together, line these up. And one thing that's nice about this, since you're matching your fabrics all around, you kind of have your square in the center, is even if you are a tiny bit off, it's not gonna make a huge difference because your fabrics match, okay? If you're one of those imperfect piecers. If you're the perfect piecer, by all means, make it perfect. If you're not, you can hang out with me. So here we go. Okay, one side's done. I'm gonna open it up. I'm gonna add the other side right to it. Okay, not even gonna iron it yet or anything. Right sides together. I'm gonna sew a 1/4 inch seam just like we always do. Boom. Now guys, look how simple that was, okay? There we have, I'm gonna do it the other way, I guess it doesn't really make a difference. Then we have our block right here, which makes up the other set of blocks in our quilt. Now, like I said, this is one of those quilts that showcases your larger pieces, but at the same time, you can also make these all uniform, or you can switch them up and make them scrappy. You can make your outsides all the same and change out your little center pieces here, so those are scrappy, or keep your center pieces the same and change your square around it. This is a super versatile quilt that you can just make it your own, dig into that stash, get it going, and make one of these quilts today. This is a great quilt you can also do for donations. We have a lot of donation quilt drives coming up, and anybody has 4 yards of fabric in their stash and can whip one of these up. So thank you for joining me today, guys. I hope you learned something new and learned how fun and easy these blocks are. If you have not already, please, down in the description below, you can check out our website. You can also like and subscribe this video. And don't forget to share it with your friends. There's a lot of people out there in the quilting industry, and not all of them know who we are, so please share this with them. As always, my name is Brody, teaching you how to sew like a pro, and we'll see you next time here at Sew Yeah Quilting. Bye, everybody.